welcome back to our channel, and I'm going to give a summary with chapter 9, which is transport layer. Role of the transport layer. The transport layer is responsible for establishing a temporary communication session between two applications and delivering data between them. The transport layer provides services such as connection-oriented data stream support, reliability, pro control, and the multiplexing. Then the transport layer responsibilities: track individual conversation. By tracking each individual conversation flowing between a source application and destination applications separately, segment data and reassemble segments. By dividing the data into segments that are easier to manage and transport, identify the application by ensuring even when multiple applications are running on a device, all applications receive the correct data. In conversation multiplexing, segmenting the data in smaller chunks enables many different communications from many different users to be interleaved, multiplexed on the same network. The transport layer adds a header that contains binary data to identify each segment of data and to enable various transport layer protocols to perform different functions in the management data communication system. Then, transport layer reliability. The transport layer is also called responsible for managing reliability. Some application that may be require transport layer requires vary from application to application. Then TCP or IP suite provides two transport layer protocols. First, transmission control protocol TCP and the user datagram protocol or the UDP. It uses these transport protocols to enable host to communicate and transport data. TCP is considered a reliable full-featured transport layer protocol which allows for packet data delivery confirmation. It contains UDP as a very simple transport layer protocol that does not provide any reliability. So we have here the TCP. TCP transport is unreliable because it supports packet delivery. Then these are three basic operations that are enable reliability with TCP. First, numbering and tracking data segment transmitted to specific host from a specific application. Second, acknowledging received data. Third is transmitting any acknowledged data after a certain period of time. UDP. Some applications do not require reliability. Reliability incurs additional overhead and possible delays in transmission. Adding overhead to ensure reliability for some applications could reduce the usefulness of the application and can be even detrimental. If reliability not required, UDP is better transport protocol. Then UDP provides the basic functions for delivering data segments between the appropriate applications with very little overhead data checking. Transport layer protocols. The TCP better choice for application. Those segments must arrive in a very specific sequence to be processed successfully. Application in which all data must be fully received before any is considered useful. Application requiring TCP include database, web browsers, email clients. UDP is better choice for applications that can tolerate some data loss during transmission, but delays in transmission are unacceptable. Applications using UDP include live audio streaming, live video streaming, and the video over IP or the VoIP. So we have the TCP features. In addition to supporting the basic functions of data segmentation and assembly, establishing a session, reliable delivery, same order delivery, and flow control. Establishing a session ensures the application is ready to receive the data. Reliable delivery means lost segments are doesn't resent, so that data is received complete. So same order delivery ensures that the segments are reassembled into the proper order, and then the flow control ensures that the receiver is able to process the data received. We have the TCP header. TCP is a stateful protocol. It keeps track of the state of the communication session by recording which information it has sent and which information has been acknowledged. Each TCP segment has 20 bytes of overhead in the header, encapsulating the application layer data as shown in the image. UDP features no order data reconstruction, the IP telephony or the streaming video, unreliable delivery, no flow control, and connectionless. We have here the UDP header. We have the multiple separate conversation. The transport layer must separate and manage multiple communications with different transport requirements. Different applications are sending and receiving data over the network simultaneously. Unique header values allow TCP and UDP to manage this multiple and simultaneous conversation by identifying these applications. Then these unique identifiers are port numbers. We have here the source port and the destination port. The source port numbers is dynamically chosen by the sending device to identify a conversion between two devices. An HTTP client usually sends multiple HTTP requests to a web server at the same time. Each separate HTTP conversation is tracked based on the source ports. Destination ports used to identify an application of service running in the server, as well as a server can offer more than one service at the same time, offering a web service on port 80 and FTP on port 21 simultaneously. So next is the socket pairs. The combination of the source IP address and source port numbers, or the destination IP address and destination port number, is known as socket. The socket is used to identify the server and service being requested by the client. Then two sockets combined form a socket pair. Sockets enable a multiple processes running on a client and multiple connection to a server process to be distinguished from each other. The source port number acts as a return address for the requesting application. It is the transport layer job to keep track of active sockets. Port number groups. The Number Authority, or IANA or IANA, is the standards body responsible for assigning various addressing standards including port numbers. The netstat command, an explained TCP connection, can indicate a major security threat. Netstat is an important network utility that can be used to verify the active connection in a host. Use netstat to list protocols and use the local address and port numbers, the foreign address and port numbers, and the connection state. By default, the netstat command will attempt to resolve IP addresses to domain names and port numbers to well-known application. Then -N option can be used to display IP addresses and port numbers in their numerical form. So the TCP server processes each application process running on the server uses a number port. Then an individual server cannot have two services assigned to the same port numbers within the same transport layer service. An active server application assigned to a specific port is considered to be open. Any incoming client request addressed to an open port is accepted and processed by the server application bound to the port. Lastly, there can be many ports open simultaneously in a server, one for each active server application. So we have the TCP connection establishment. You have three steps. First, the initiating client request a client to server communication session with the server.
Second, the server acknowledge the client to server communication session and request to a server to a client communication session. Third one is the initiating client acknowledge yes the server to client communication session. So that's all for the chapter 9. Hope you learn and thank you for watching.